Having a chance to play in other organizations, I don't think you really realize what it means to put on the pinstripes and how hard it is to play in New York. And I always tell people how heavy the pinstripes are. Like it's a real thing when you come here and play in the Bronx.
I think you know where we need to start, CC. Torpedo bats. Your Yankees took the league by storm on opening day when they introduced the world to these new bats. It seems like it's going to have a ripple effect throughout Major League Baseball as a whole. But, listen, I know you probably enjoyed seeing the Bombers hit bombs, but you're a pitcher, and I feel like, I can't imagine there's a single pitcher in the league right now excited about these bats. But you tell me.
I think everybody's excited about the bats. I feel like it's a little
Really?
over
Okay.
story. The bats are 3 years old. I've been working in the Yankees organization now for, wow, I think 5 years, 6 years now since I've been retired. And we had a meeting about this 3 years ago, and it's just, kind of fitting the guys to where they hit the ball on the bat. And, when we did the presentation a couple years ago, I didn't think anything of it. Thought it was a cool thing, but, I think it was more about the Yankees putting up so many runs that opening weekend. But if you look at where the guys were throwing the pitches, it was a lot of excuses going on from the guys with the Brewers and all that stuff, but they were throwing balls right down the middle. So I think I could have probably got a hit that day that Nestor was pitching, hit the 9 homers. So,
Right.
I think it's less about the bats and more about where you throw the pitches. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool early season story. I think a lot of guys are ordering them now, but it's something that you have to be careful with because if you're a guy that hits the ball off the end of the bat, you just got to know where you hit the ball on the bat to be able to use these torpedo bats.
I was gonna say it's like perfect timing, suspiciously, after the World Series loss. Like, wow, now y'all got some really cool bats coming out. But I want you to confirm the rumors though, because some are crediting the Yankees' hot start to the torpedo bats, but you and others are crediting you because you threw out the first pitch on opening day. So I want to know, was it you who helped this crazy Yankees home run back-to-back spell?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna credit the Brewers pitching.
Oh my God, yeah, that's comedy.
I had nothing to do with it. The bats had nothing to do with it. It was really their pitching, and I love that organization. I pitched in that organization, but it kind of is what it is.
That's hilarious. I think there was some anxiety for Yankees fans going into the season. Soto left town, Cole's out for the season, but here they are looking primed to make another deep run. Do you envision them right back in the World Series next year?
It's the first week of April. You know what I mean? Like so,
You're like, slow down, slow down.
They have so many injuries. It's so much stuff that has to go right. That division's tough. Toronto is really good this year. Baltimore is going to take a step forward. Boston is really, really, really good. I think Devers is going to come out of his slump. They got some really good young players. So I think the first step for the Yankees is trying to worry about winning the division is the biggest thing, and handling in their division, trying to stay healthy. They look really, really good right now. It's the first week. They look good. The pitching's been healthy, but it's a long way to go.
Right. When we look at the Dodgers, obviously super early to say it, but it does seem like they are in a good position to compete for back-to-back titles. Their roster's loaded, but early on here, I feel like the only sore spot has been the start of, Roki Sasaki, who came into the season with tons of hype. It's been kind of brutal for the 23-year-old Japanese star, so much so that he was spotted tearing up in the dugout after his last start. So as a fellow pitcher, can you sympathize at all with him showing that kind of emotion, or do you subscribe more to that famous Tom Hanks line, "There's no crying in baseball"?
I mean, yeah, it's tough watching somebody cry out on the bench. 2 starts into their career. I would have much rather see him do that. Upstairs. There's no problem with showing emotion. But I want to see you do that in the locker room. I wouldn't want people, on the other team to see him showing that emotion if I'm on the Dodgers. But I think he'll be fine. I mean, that team top to bottom, they have so much good pitching, and that lineup can afford to. I was out in Japan and watched them play without Freddie and Mookie and still put up, 6 runs and then 7 runs. So, I mean, it's just an embarrassment of riches that they have over there, and I think that they'll be able to make a deep run because of all of the pitching that they have with Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates and, Blake Trinan, along with all the starters that they have. Tyler Glasnow is their fourth starter. So whenever you go into a season with Tyler Glasnow as your fourth starter, you got a pretty good chance of winning the World Series.
Yeah, and not even forgetting Otani. I mean, do you think he should just kind of focus on hitting for the rest of his career, or do you expect him to be on the mound at all?
No, I would love to see him come back. I mean, I would love to see him come back and do both as long as he can, stay healthy and do it. We're only going to be able to see him do it for a couple more years, right? Like he's only got so many throws in that arm with, you know, just that workload of hitting and pitching. As you get older, I think it's going to be tough. He's going to have to pick. So right now, while he's healthy, he's young enough to do it. I would love to see him come back and, get into that starting rotation.
Right. CC, for you personally, congratulations are in order. You'll be permanently enshrined in the Baseball Hall of Fame in July. And such a small group of individuals make it into the Hall. So it's got to be such a cool feeling for you to have your career recognized in that way.
Yeah, no, it's a cool feeling. It still feels surreal, maybe because I haven't went to Cooperstown and with all the Hall of Famers there and did the speech and all the stuff, but I still feel like it still feels super surreal. I mean, getting a call and being here with all my family and stuff was humbling. It was awesome, but I'm looking forward to this summer and kind of getting past that first year of being a Hall of Famer and being able to go back and enjoy it. Go to Cooperstown and enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you obviously made a huge impact on multiple franchises during your time, but your plaque is going to be you wearing a Yankees hat. I mean, what does it mean to go into the hall representing the NY on your cap?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, I think having a chance to play in other organizations, I don't think you really realize what it means to put on the pinstripes, and how hard it is to play in New York. And I always tell people how heavy the pinstripes are. Like it's a real thing when you come here and play in the Bronx. So to be able to come here, win a championship, win 20 games, become a black ace, and do all these different things in a Yankees uniform, it feels incredible. And I'm honored to be able to wear the NY in Cooperstown.